Sometimes, the most beautiful things in life begin with the smallest decisions. This family only meant to save an injured bird. They had no idea that one simple act of kindness would eventually create a friendship that would make hundreds of thousands of people smile. It all began on an ordinary day at the park. Lying alone in the grass was a small bird with a bloodied wing and ruffled feathers. He could barely move. That little bird would later be named Cracker. From the moment they found him, it was obvious that Cracker would never survive on his own in the wild. He was weak, frightened, and completely alone. So they rushed him to a veterinarian, hoping there was still a chance to save him. The vets did everything they could, but the news wasn't entirely encouraging. Cracker might recover, but he would almost certainly never be able to fly long distances like a healthy bird again. That meant his life in the wild was over before it had truly begun. That's when the family faced an important decision. They could try to find another place for Cracker, or they could open their own home and give him a second chance. In the end, they chose the second option. What they didn't realise was that this decision would change far more than one life. When Cracker arrived at his new home, there was already a special resident waiting there, a dog named Milo. Large, powerful, and completely different from the tiny bird who had just entered his world. To be honest, everyone was a little nervous. A dog and a bird, that isn't exactly the friendship most people imagine. But Milo surprised everyone from the very first day. He didn't bark, he didn't rush toward Cracker, he didn't get overly excited. Instead, he simply lay down near Cracker's cage and quietly watched. Hours passed and Milo remained there as if he wanted to say, "You're not alone anymore." During those first days, Cracker was still terrified. He watched everything around him with caution. Yet something unusual happened whenever Milo was nearby. Cracker seemed calmer, less tense. He even began looking around with curiosity instead of hiding in the corner. Day after day, the distance between them slowly shrank. Milo never pushed. He never frightened Cracker. He simply showed up every single day. Then one day, Cracker stepped closer to Milo than ever before. Milo didn't move. Cracker didn't run away. It was only a brief moment, but it was enough to start something extraordinary. After that, everything changed. Cracker began following Milo around the house, from the living room to the kitchen, from the backyard to the bedroom. If Milo changed direction, Cracker noticed immediately. If Cracker stopped, Milo slowed down too. What touched everyone most wasn't simply that they spent time together, it was the way Milo treated Cracker. Somehow he seemed to understand that his friend was fragile. Every movement became slower. Every interaction became gentler. Everything he did carried an unusual tenderness. Then one day, the worst happened. Cracker disappeared. The family searched everywhere. They checked every corner of the house. They asked neighbours. They posted notices online. But nothing worked. One day passed. Then a week. Then another. And Milo felt the loss more deeply than anyone. He often walked over to Cracker's empty cage, stared inside for a long time, and quietly walked away. He played less, ran less. It was as if a piece of his world had vanished. Several weeks later, a glimmer of hope appeared. Someone posted online about a bird that had been found and brought to a veterinary clinic. The family rushed there immediately. But how could they prove it was Cracker? The answer came from Milo. The moment Milo entered the room, Cracker recognized him. The little bird climbed down as quickly as he could, moved closer, and began making the familiar sounds he always made at home. Milo responded instantly. He hurried over and gently covered his tiny friend with affectionate licks, as if trying to make up for every day they had been apart. No paperwork was needed, no arguments, no additional proof. Everyone in the room knew immediately that this was Cracker. From the day he returned home, the two were rarely separated again. They ate together, rested together, and continued living their lives as though the painful separation had never happened. Looking at Milo and Cracker today, it's easy to forget that one is a large, powerful dog, while the other is a tiny bird who once struggled to survive. All people see now are two best friends. And perhaps that's the most beautiful part of their story. True friendship doesn't care about appearance, size, or differences. It begins when someone chooses to stay beside you during the moments when you need them most. It all started with one small decision: bringing home an injured bird. But sometimes, one small decision is all it takes to change two lives forever.